members of the committee. My name is Michelle Nate. I'm the Chief of Finance and Operations for Milwaukee Public Schools. And there are 4 things that I would like to alert this committee to as you go through your budget deliberations. 4, I guess I would call them areas of significant risk. They are not fully quantified at this point, but things that we do need to keep track of. And the first one is probably, it's one we deal with every year, but with things being as tight as they are, I need to point this out. And that's, remember that our whole budget, our whole spending plan is based on our enrollment projections. Right now, we have the same enrollment projections we did when we started the process, give or take, 10 or 20 kids, something like that. But generally speaking, we're working with the same targets. That could change. We have a completely different economic situation. Our numbers could be high, they could be low. I would have told you that we were on target at this time last year, and we were off by about 50%. Other years we've been directly on target. So although we are projecting an enrollment decrease, if for some reason that would be a smaller decrease than we are expecting, that will require a significant redistribution in next fall's budget, and there's not a lot of wiggle room in this budget as we are just about at the revenue limit already. The second area I'd like to talk about, and I talk about it all the time, but it's the OPEB, the retiree health care benefit. While this budget will fully fund the pay-as-you-go as we have done historically, we now have quantified and to reflect on our books the unfunded liability, and that would be an additional annual $140 million. We don't have that in this year's budget. I couldn't point to a place where you could get it out of this year's budget, but it is a liability that we carry on our books, and of course to the degree that we would be able to afford to fund it, that would put us in a better financial position. The third came relatively unexpectedly to us. On April 21st, we were asked to meet with city financial officials who told us, and I do need to tell you, we had been asking this question for some time prior because we had a hint there might be a problem. But the city pension system, which supports a significant portion of our employment population, may require a contribution from the school district between $6 and $12 million. We won't know that number until August. We will certainly keep you apprised of anything we can. We have been trying to work with them to see if, because there's a change in fiscal year, we could just deal with maybe half of it at one time. We don't have that quantified. Hopefully that's high, maybe it will be lower. We've been a lot of different questions and answers going back and forth right now. I can only tell you that it has to do with the fact that we have not had to make a contribution to the city plan for I think at least 8 years now, because it has been sufficiently funded. It has actually enjoyed a surplus, and so we've had a holiday for that contribution. But they did indicate to us literally on the day we were rolling this out that there is likely to be a change in that, and that we would have that number around August of this year. And then, of course, the fourth factor is something that I'm sure you're all aware of because it's already on your desk, and that has to do with recent developments at the state level. The expansion of the deficit is requiring some significant actions at the state. To the degree that the first reflection was Joint Finance Committee postponed their hearings. The items that had been taken up included K-12 funding, aid to municipalities, and the UW system, all significant to us here in this room, of course. I also need to point out, so we don't know what that's going to do. We don't know if it'll change the categorical distributions. I would share one concern right now is that the stimulus funding, I need to remind you, includes funding for this fiscal year. We have a payment due from the state on June 15th of $187 million in aid for this year, not for the budget you're delivering on, but the one we're working on right now. And the state has $291 million of federal funds to support that June 15th disbursement to all school districts. That still has to be approved by the legislature. So whether State has not said anything about a delayed payment. That's something they've used in the past. What effect it will have on next year's budget remains to be seen. There certainly is a hope that the state will continue its high priority with K-12 funding, but we will keep you informed as things develop, but I wanted to alert you to these 4 factors